to the channel, everyone. Hey, so in this video today, I've realized a lot of you need help building a sales team, so I'm just going to teach you how to do it. A lot of people talk about sales management. It's not that, okay? Leaders understand it's not scripts, objections, closing techniques. Hey, we need to transform identities. That's what you need to do in order to build a little sales army for yourself there. So what I'm going to do today, break down the psychology behind building a world-class sales team by understanding people at their core, right? Coaching to their personal mission, creating elite standards, and developing the type of human being that success naturally follows. So as always, grab a pencil and paper. I'm going to teach you how to build $1 million sales team. So it starts right here with Module 1. Go ahead and write that down. Module 1. You're not building salespeople, you're building human beings. And this is the core principle for me. Most companies think they're hiring employees. I think they're accepting responsibility for another person's future. The day someone joins your team, they're trusting you with something they'll never get back, right? Their time, months, years, a chapter of their life, right? And as a leader, you have an obligation to make sure that they leave your organization better than they entered it. And that's a perspective most people, they don't have. And I want to say, whether they stay 6 months or 6 years, they should become a stronger person because they worked with you. You see, sales is simply the environment where that transformation happens. So let me give you some psychology here. Leadership is identity development. Go ahead and write that down. Leadership is identity development. The greatest coaches don't create better employees. They create better people. Better communicators, better thinkers, better husbands, better wives, better parents, better leaders, ultimately better decision makers. Sales becomes the byproduct of becoming that person, right? So it's not always about the skill. It's like, who can I help this person become? And when you focus on those things in Module 1, dude, sky is the limit for their potential, right? It's not always about the skill. I can teach skill. I need to know I'm teaching a good person, though. Better yet, I can help create that person, teach them a new identity, help them transform and step into it, right? Hey, Module 2, you need to know their story before you coach their performance. Okay, you need to know who you're talking to. And the core principle of this module is the first thing I want, look, I guess let me say it like this. The first thing I want to learn isn't about their sales experience. I just want to know the person. Okay, I want to understand who they are before I ever try to improve what they do. And these are questions that every great leader should know. And this is what you should ask them. These are questions that when I'm talking with people that I train, essentially I'm trying to figure them out so I can better help them. So I can take them to the next level, right? So I'll ask them, what do you want your life to look like 5 years from now? Why is that important to you? Who are you trying to provide for? What keeps you awake at night? Like, what motivates you? What scares you? What do you believe you're capable of? Who do you want to become? What kind of parent do you want to be? What kind of spouse? What kind of legacy do you want to leave, right? And also, what are you willing to sacrifice to get there? Here's the thing. People don't fight for goals, they fight for meaning, right? So if you understand what someone is emotionally attached to, well, then you can speak to them, right? You understand what drives their behavior. You see, people rarely quit because of hard work. I don't think I've seen that, honestly. I don't think once I've obtained someone's goals and know what they wanted to achieve out of life, and then I coach them to that, I don't think they ever thought I was making them work harder. Maybe they did, but they didn't quit because of it. They quit because they lost connection with why they started, right? So a lot of people don't understand that, and it's hard to hear, but actually it's just hard work. And hard work and lots of dials and lots of calls and lots of reading, all of that gets you there. And if you tie it to their goals, you're able to propel their physical body to a certain standard. So if I can keep the why relevant enough and connect it all the way through, I can drive them to hit them what they want to do. And you can do the same thing, right? And people appreciate that. I don't think people understand that when it comes to building a sales team and building a sales army, or whatever you want to call it, a sales team you can just call it. But I think for me, you're just missing the point that I just got to figure out who they are and how to take them to the next level and make them not forget their why. Just got to talk about the why all the time, right? I mean, whose goals are they? It's like they're theirs. So I just got to take them there. Hey, module 3, let's drop down to that. Don't build your goals into them, build theirs. I was really pretty much talking about this, and all of the leaders make this of sales teams. It's one of the biggest mistakes that you make, and it's you spend all your time talking about company goals, the revenues, the KPIs, right? The conversion rates, the appointments. But you guys forget something. Your goals are not what wakes your team up in the morning. It's their goals. They don't care. They don't wake up caring, oh boy, does Nathan care if I hit 55K today? No, dude, they care if they do it. Like, they care if they do it. They care if they're going to be able to buy a home and get a down payment. They care if they're going to be able to go on vacation. Like, they care about if their daughter's going to be able to get piano lessons. That's what they care about. So you're speaking to each other, but you're not speaking at each other, if that makes any sense, okay? So I want to find out what their goals are, and then I can use those goals as a catalyst to improve their performance. Hey, Janet, you told me you wanted a boat for that lake house you guys own, right? Okay, but I see you've only called 30 businesses today. Like, make it make sense, right? And they appreciate that. You know, everyone I've coached, I'm pretty much on their butt. And guess what? Dude, they love it. They love it. Like some psychology for you here. I've already stressed this enough, but I just want to burn it into your brain. It's just like people don't wake up excited to hit company numbers. They wake up wanting to buy the house, pay off debt, retire their mom and dad, give their children opportunities that they never had, create freedom. They also want to travel like they're people. Maybe someday they want to build a business too. But more importantly, like, there's some people like me who are so crazy they want to change their family tree and they want to do these kinds of things. And those people, you can really push and get a lot of revenue out of them. And more importantly, like, they'll get to live a life they always dreamed of. And like, that's what you're trying to achieve. So you have to realize, if I'm able to help this person live the lifestyle that they want to live, then work is nothing to them. Like, they will always win at a high level. So you have to figure that out. You know, I can coach with purpose. When I don't, I'm just managing activity. So that's kind of how you have to do that. Manage off their purpose and their why. Don't manage off their activities. Easy. To me, it's common sense. All right. Hey, I've been talking about this a lot this whole entire video, but I just want to stress it. You know, I need to stress it here. Your intensity needs to match your ambition. Okay? My intensity matches my ambition. Okay? I guess what I'm trying to say is this. So, I don't coach everyone the same. Okay? I coach everyone fairly. So, if you tell me I just want stability, it's like, well, okay then, good. Just hit the numbers here. Just do the job. You know? That we have in place for you. You just need to hit these numbers. You're going to be all right. But if you tell me, hey, Nate, I want to become one of the best salespeople alive, you know, understand something. Well, I'm going to demand more from you, not because I'm hard on you, because I'm honoring your dream. So you have to figure out what's going on. Great coaching isn't equal. It's just individualized. Intensity should always match commitment. The bigger the vision, the higher the standard, and that's respect. Okay, so I think you get what I'm putting down. I don't need to keep going in depth about it and talking about it. I'll just leave it at that. I coach to their goals. I don't coach to the company standard. At the end of the day, their goals will always be more than what your standards are. Just remember that. And if they're not, like, fire them. They don't belong there. Why would you hire someone who doesn't want to make like $100,000 a year? That's weird. Okay, you need to find those people, and then you need to coach them at the highest level. All right, module 5, identity always beats motivation. Okay, so if you're following my channel, you'll realize, by the way, what I teach in these videos, you would have to pay like tens and $20,000s of dollars to be coached by sales professionals and learn all of this stuff. Or you can watch my videos, or you can read books and do sales for years, all those things. So understand, whatever I'm teaching you, it's true. You need to write it down and apply it if you want to make more money. Okay, so identity is a big thing. Motivation will always go away, but who they believe they are, that typically remains forever. Okay, I don't want someone thinking, I have to make calls today. I want them thinking, I'm the type of person who keeps commitments. I'm the type of person who's disciplined. I'm the type of person who finishes what I start. I do hard things. Because once behavior becomes identity, discipline no longer feels forced. It just becomes automatic. Behavior follows identity. Identity follows repeated evidence. Every coaching conversation should reinforce the identity you're trying to help them become, right? Let's drop down to Module 6. Become a student of human psychology. The best sales leaders study people more than they study sales. Every rep has a different operating system. Some respond to competition. Some respond to encouragement. Some need structure. Some need autonomy. Some need, and some need failure. I would even say that. Some need failure. Some fear failure. And others fear success, which is so strange. But no, it's true. They do. And your job is to understand how each person's mind works. So here are some questions to observe. How do they handle objection? Okay. How do they handle objections? How do they handle rejection? Right? How do they react under pressure? Do they internalize criticism? Right? Do they need reassurance? What gives them confidence? What destroys their confidence? How do they communicate? How do they make decisions? Look, you're never coaching behavior. You're coaching the beliefs, creating the behavior. Okay? So you just have to get really good at that. Know their family, know their heart. So I'm really big on family. I just want to say I genuinely care. And I genuinely like and learn to love the people that I hire, and I want them to all. First of all, I just want to say I love all people. So I really care about helping and getting to know their family and their kids growing up and doing great things. All that matters, but their income's important to me. That's how all that happens. Okay, so a lot of people say maybe money is not that important. No, money's super important, and getting to know their family and getting to know all of that only makes them perform at a higher level. If you lead people, you need to know who they love. You need to know their spouse. You need to know their kids. You need to know their parents, the birthdays, the anniversaries. You need to know when life gets hard. Not because it's your business, because leadership requires genuine care. People don't leave their personal life at home. Guys, they bring it with them every single day, right? People perform better when they feel understood, not because they're being managed, but because they know someone genuinely cares about them. And connection creates trust, and trust creates influence, and influence creates growth. All right, let's go to Module 8. Module 8. I titled this Ruthless Standards and Compassionate Leadership. For me, these are not opposites. Okay, great leaders can be incredibly compassionate without lowering expectations. You can understand someone's struggles while refusing to let them live beneath their potential. Okay, grace for people, discipline for standards. Never confuse the two. And the psychology for this is, I want you to understand that people feel safest when expectations are clear. Inconsistent standards create anxiety. Consistent standards create trust. Your team should always know exactly where they stand. All right? I want you to build a culture obsessed with growth. So if you ever talk to the people I train, they would say, no, that's one of his things. And he's nuts about it. The greatest sales organizations, they're not obsessed with selling, they're obsessed with learning. Reading, role-playing, listening to calls, improving communication, understanding psychology, seeking feedback, mastering the craft. Because the person who stops learning, they're done. You might as well count them off, right? They're done growing. Education changes perception. Perception changes decisions. Decision changes habits. Habits change identity. And identity changes your life, right? Let's go to Module 10. Accountability is an act of love. It's true. Most people think accountability means punishment. I strongly disagree with that, okay? Accountability is belief. If I stop correcting you, I've stopped believing you're capable of more. The scoreboard isn't there to shame them. It's to reveal the truth. Got to reveal the truth about them. The truth gives us something to improve on, okay? Look, emotion hides reality. Numbers expose reality. The goal isn't to judge people. The goal is to identify patterns and improve them, right? Let's go to Module 11. Your team borrows your emotional state. So for me, as their leader, okay, and you become their emotional thermostat. So if you're reactive, your team becomes reactive. If you're calm under pressure, your team becomes calm under pressure. If you panic at every lost sale, they'll begin to fear losing, okay? If your emotional regulation becomes the culture, boy, that's a great thing. And like that's what you want. Emotions are contagious. People unconsciously mirror the nervous system of those that they trust. You see, leadership starts with mastering yourself. Just ask yourself, you're doing a lot of things as the sales leader, not at work, and that's developing micro confidence inside of you. So what do I mean by that? Like, number one, you should be fit as a leader. You should be in shape. You shouldn't be out of shape. Okay, and what do I mean by that? People follow people they want to be like. Okay? So, if you're not in shape, then working 8 hours straight, working 10 hours straight, you're eating bad food. Okay? So, chemically, all these things are going on inside of you. All right? But no, now you're altering your ability to sell. That's what people miss. But all of this comes back to you. Because, what most people don't understand is you will attract people similar to you. Not all the time, but most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. Okay, so that means the better shape you're in, not all the time, but most of the time, you'll attract people in shape. Okay, and when they're in shape, they articulate better, they're typically more disciplined. Okay, but that's not everything. I've met people out of shape who are powerhouses. Okay, so, but they're smart, but they have a high motor. Those things. So you have to be all of those in one. I think when I think of a sales leader, I think you need to be the most intense. I think you need to be the most ambitious. I think you need to be the most assertive. I think you need to be the most aggressive. I think you need to be the most loving, the most compassionate. I think you need to read the most books. I think you need to lift the most weights. I think you need to run the most miles. That's what I think. I think you need to love the hardest. I think you need to coach the hardest. I think you need to sell the hardest also. I think you need to hire the hardest. I just feel like if you're a sales leader and you have to hold other people accountable, that when no one's looking at you, you need to go hard as heck. Because what happens is people can sense who you are when you're not around people. And I know it's true because you're a person. And so that this is true. So if you don't master yourself, you can't master others. And you can't help others master themselves. You can't hold people accountable to KPIs. It's like, dude, you eat cookies all the time. And dude, you don't read sales books. You don't read leadership books. You don't read psychology books. You don't listen to lectures. You don't go to events. You don't spend money to self-improve. You're not loving to your wife. You're not good to your kids. I don't think people realize how important those things are. We can all see right through it. Okay? So as a salesperson, I want my leader to be this way. Psycho in all areas of improving. And if you will become this person that I'm talking about, they will rise to the occasion. Okay? They want to emulate you. They want to be like you. I don't think people understand that enough. And is it hard? Yeah, it's really hard to go hard every day. But the president of our company has really helped me push myself. Now, from a distance. Okay, so I see how this guy works. And even when I was younger, and worked here a couple years ago, I realized there's always another level, okay? And I had a great father who he's passed, but he was a big dog, okay, over at a company, and he showed me growing up, I was able to see that there's another level of life out there that is capable of achieving. And then later in life, as an adult, I was able to see Roger. He's the president of our company, but I don't work closely with Roger. He's the president of a company, right? So he's far over here. But I've been able to see the work ethic, and that has even increased mine. Where I'm like, oh, you thought there was this, but there's this. And I think that has pushed me. So just from self-experience, I have learned that it's all about the person ahead, okay? And that actually matters. So you need to be an A+ student all the time in life. And that is how you'll truly get the best numbers out of your people, right? Because they want to be like you, but then they also don't want to let you down, and then you're also a shining light that, hey, it is possible, and hey, it is achievable if you just do these things. So that brings me down to module 12, where the mission is bigger than sales. At the end of the day, I don't measure my success by how much revenue my team generated. How weird would that be? I measure it by who they became. Did they become more disciplined, more confident, better communicators, better leaders, better fathers, better mothers, better husbands, better wives? That's more important to me. Because if we build extraordinary people, extraordinary sales become inevitable, okay? Sales isn't the mission, transformation is, right? Sales is simply the proof that transformation happens. So I don't want people who are casually interested in becoming great. I want people who are relentless in their commitment to growth. People who attack self-development with intensity. People who value education. People who embrace difficult conversations. Who refuse to make excuses. Who care deeply about helping others. Who understand that every objection, every rejection, every setback is shaping them into someone unstoppable. Because that's what we're really building. It's not a sales team. It's just a team of exceptional human beings who happen to be elite at sales. And when you build people like that, numbers will always follow. So I hope you found this video valuable. Definitely make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.